Hello viewers, it's that time of the week again where we go to the AOR V8 Supercars League. This is round number 4 at Sebring. So, actually before I start, I'm going to say there's actually a few spaces in this league. A couple of guys signed up at the start of the season, haven't really shown up, so they've been kicked out. So there are a couple of spaces available. Now if you do want to sign up, make sure you read all the rules. It's in the links in the description. And if you do sign up, you're signing up for the season, not for 2 laps. So if you do sign up, you know, you're signing up for the whole season, another 6 races, and you know you've got to turn up and actually race. So that is a chance for you to race me. I know a lot of you do want to race me, so if you want to take up the offer, it's there. But the league is a very fast one. So you do have to be, you know, quite good at least, and you have to put in a bit of practice. Unlike me, actually, I am very hypocritical actually, because I put in barely 5 laps practice around here, so I'm not expecting too much from this race. My best lap was a 2:08.3, which is fairly good, but not going to set the world on fire with that kind of lap time. But if I could do that consistently in the race, then I'll be fairly high up in the order, I would have thought. So Sebring, it's a very tricky circuit, mainly because of the curbs. And for those of you who watched the first season, this was round number 2 I believe, and there was a huge accident with T6 Bullet, actually round turn 13, where he hit an invisible wall and retired. Well, not actually, no, he didn't retire from the race, he lost a lot of time from it. He literally come off that curb, smashed into some invisible wall, and I gained a position out of it. But for him it was obviously really frustrating to hit something that wasn't actually there in the physical realm. But anyway, through the final turn 17, a very tricky corner to get right, over the line in 6th at this moment here. But once everyone has finished their laps, I went down to 7th. Shadow Demon getting past me there. I did a 2:08.9, not my best lap by any means, but as we've seen in most of my races so far, I'm more about consistency in the race, not making mistakes, just trying to nail consistent laps in the race and getting a better position than my starting position. So here we are at the start of the race, in 7th on the inside line. Let's see what we can do from here. So we are off the line. Someone has stalled, that is McFarlane on row number 2, stalling. We've gone up a position. T6 Bullet, the biggest loser there actually, or the second biggest loser after Phil. Normally the guy behind the staller loses the most out of everyone else, because they have to swerve right the way round to avoid the staller. So that means I have gained 2 positions from 7th up to 5th. Shadow Demon here in the Mercedes in 4th position, a good start for him as well. So let's see what we can do here. Get a slow exit from this corner. I went through in 3rd, normally I take it in 2nd, so I didn't get quite the best exit. T6 Bullet right on my tail here, so I decided to go defensive. I don't want to let him through at this early stage. So coming through the hairpin, taking it in 1st gear actually. Probably the best gear there, because you are going very slow on the exit and you do need that drive. If you go in gear 2, you just get no drive at all coming out of there. Into this sequence of corners, Shadow Demon goes very wide off the circuit. I almost follow him actually, guilty of watching him rather than the braking point. Almost follow him wide, but I'm through into 4th, a very good start and a very good position to be in, given that the top 3, as you can see, are very quick and are pulling away already. So coming through into the tricky section here at the end of the circuit, braking in level with the start of the grass there, hooking up with the apex, waiting for the bump in the centre of the track there before accelerating, dipping 2 wheels onto the side of the track before coming through turn 16. You can take that curb on the exit, but you want to go to the far extent of it or not at all, because if you get 2 wheels on the centre, it starts to throw you up quite nastily. A common theme of Sebring, the curbs are very bad around here. So coming into the final turn, we've got a bit of a gap over T6 Bullet. I think he made a couple of mistakes through that final turn, perhaps because of the curbs or the bumps. but I have gained about 150 feet from him. Skipping forward to the end of lap number 3, this is the situation. I kept with Sam in third for a couple of laps, but I didn't quite have the pace to match the top 3 for the rest of the race. I was quite pleased to stay with him for a while, and this was a quite decent gap from me to T6 Bullet back in 5th. About 500 feet at the full extent of that straight just there. And at this point, I think Phil was fighting his way through the traffic in that group behind, and eventually did get through. So this is lap number 5. My gap to T6 Bullet is hovering around 300 to 400 feet, depending on where I am on the circuit. But here I make a very big error. As you can see, that curb throwing me up onto 2 wheels, lose a lot of time there, and here make another big error, go very wide through turn 16. Lost about 200 feet or so there, 1.8 seconds down on my best at this stage. That's obviously not very good at all. 1.8 seconds in one lap is pretty awful, if I'm honest. I should not be going that far down on my best lap time, but it sort of happens to me a lot. I sort of lose concentration, I lose the sort of sensitivity of my finger almost on the throttle and brake pedals, so I don't get quite the same responsiveness sometimes. But coming through turn number 1 on lap number 10, Phil's got through into 5th past T6 Bullet, and here he is behind me, and I guess I'm focused more on him at this current stage here, because I make a couple of errors. Hit the curb there, doesn't make too much of an issue for me, but into this one, very wide, very slow off the turn as well. And coming into the hairpin, Phil can get the slipstream on me here, and coming into the hairpin, I'm not going to fight it because I think he was going to get past me eventually. There's not much point in fighting and losing time. I think T6 Bullet is my real opponent here. So into the hairpin, don't really fight it there, make sure we lose as little time as possible, so let him through quite nicely on the inside, and he's through into 4th. I'm down to 5th, which is officially the front of Division 2, and I say officially, I mean I call it officially because I just said so. But coming through now, this corner here is so hard to get right on full throttle. The car always wants to oversteer through there. But coming through here, that corner there is also very tricky. That's where T6 Bullet had his invisible wall incident in the previous season. So into the final turn, this is lap number 12, coming through the final turn. I had to pit here because the Volvo wouldn't have made it otherwise. The Volvo's got one of the smallest fuel tanks, so into the pits. We are just ahead of T6 Bullet there by about 300 feet, and on the exit, that is Robo going through, and Urban's Octane is going to come alongside here on the exit. There he is, coming into turn number 2. I'm going to force him a little bit narrow, and he bails out. Quite a sensible decision if you ask me. And then at the end of lap 13 going to lap 14, that's T6 Bullet coming out of the pits there. So if anything, he has gained ever so slightly on me. And we're going to follow this lap for a small amount here. This race was originally meant to be 26 laps, and that's Phil quitting the race there. He had a disconnection from the race. So at this point here, I am in 5th, but I will go up into 4th because he was 4th. So that's a free position essentially. So as I was saying, the race got moved to 25 laps rather than 26. This is because the Volvo didn't have a big enough fuel tank to do one stop otherwise. So that is Robo going into the pits there. This is the situation at the end of lap 14. T6 Bullet about 300 to 400 feet behind. And then we're going to move to lap 25, about a third of the way into the lap. This is the final lap. So T6 Bullet has actually caught up quite significantly here. He's been pressuring me for the entire race. He was about 300 to 400 feet behind, but now less than 100 into the hairpin there. It opens up again on the exit, as you'd expect when I accelerate sooner than he does, but he is a lot closer than normal. So any mistake that I make here, he could punish on the last lap and come through into 5th. He is my main championship rival, it seems, at the moment. I will overtake Phil at this rate because he did leave the race. So I will overtake him, although you can have a drop round, so this will presumably be his drop round at this rate. So coming through turn number 13 with the horrible curve on the exit, I get a decent exit. I think T6 Bullet was making a few mistakes on the exit of that turn. Perhaps he was scared of having a repeat incident of what happened to him in the last season's race. So into this one I go very wide on the brakes. I guess the pressure was getting to me a little bit, and into the penultimate corner on the whole race. Going through a decent exit, not too bad, but T6 Bullet is right there. He is 50 or so feet behind, and if I make an error here, he has got the chance to get past. He won't be able to overtake me on the way in, but any error will be punished if I make one. I go a little bit wide, and I was worried that he was going to go up the inside there, but thankfully I managed to get back to the inside, and there's nothing he can do. So I'm going to come through to claim a 4th position. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. About the best result I could have got once again, and it's about that in a championship. It's not always about winning, it's just about maximising your own personal performance, and 4th is the best result I could have got here, and I've achieved it, so I'm very pleased about that. There's the final standings there. T6 Bullet finishing less than half a second, or around half a second behind me in the end. Shuffle winning that race from KPTK 92, Sam in 3rd, Troy the next Volvo along in the road in 7th. So that wasn't a bad race actually. I was quite pleased with the result there. Let me know what you thought about that, and again, if you want to join the league, there's some links in the description. Make sure you read all the rules and make sure you are committed to racing the whole season if you do want to join. So that's going to be all from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. Hit the like button if you did, subscribe if you want to see more of the same, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.